Hey, Mr. O, I'm Jaden Liu, an 8th grader at the Brownfield School, and I have some questions for you today.
All right.
First of all, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you were born, where you grew up, where you went to college, all that
Sure.
stuff?
I'm actually from Washington State. I grew up first on the east side of the Cascade Mountains in a town called Yakima. Actually, it's a city. And after living there until middle school, I moved over to the west side of the mountains and lived near to Seattle and graduated from high school in a suburb of Seattle, and then went to the University of Washington for both my undergraduate and for my graduate degrees.
Sounds good. Okay. What made you become a science teacher, and how did you become a science teacher after that?
I think the thing that really drew me to science was that I realized I liked being outdoors. I liked natural scenes and activities, and I spent a lot of time with my grandparents going hiking and camping. My grandfather was into the Audubon Society, going birding, so I spent a lot of time with them on bird trips, and I also joined Boy Scouts when I was young, so we did a lot of camping trips, and I think that encouraged me to really like science. I also had a big thing for catching frogs when I was a little kid. And then once I was just about ready to graduate college, I had to decide, would I either choose to go down the path of becoming an English teacher or becoming a science teacher. And I couldn't make up my mind, so I trained to do both, and I could actually teach either one. And the thing that I realized once I started trying both out as a student teacher is that teaching science is just more fun. So that's where I ended up, and I think I made a good choice.
You sure did. All right. Can you tell us a little bit about your course and what you learned throughout the year? And also, if you were to retain one thing, what would you want that to be?
Sure. I think of course, the course itself is the way we teach at Brownfield. I teach life science, and that follows from earth science that was taught in 6th grade, and then physical science that's taught in 8th grade. So the life science that I teach is basically an introduction to biology, the same content that eventually gets re-taught and learned in high school, but at a higher level in high school. And so there are just the standard life science biology topics: cells, genetics, evolution, ecology. And what makes those all fun is that they are hands-on and lab-based type of activities I think everyone can relate to. And I think if there's one thing that I hope everyone who has taken my class walks away with, it's a sense of curiosity and awe and wonder to think that some things are just really cool and amazing.
I left your class with a lot of curiosity too. All right.
Great.
What hobbies do you enjoy doing in your free time, and do you ever connect that to your classes in any way?
My main hobby these days, which actually started when I was in middle school, is bicycling. And that's something I like to do because it's both physical and it's outdoors. Get to do it with friends. I also like to go hiking and camping, and that's that same thing that drew me to being a science teacher. And a lot of times our family goes on trips, and we've gone all across the country. We've been camping in Yellowstone, we've been out to Yosemite in California, we've been to the Grand Canyon, and on all of those trips I constantly look at things that I can bring back as part of my lessons for science class, in pictures and stories and connections to things that are topics we have to study in class that are better when you actually have had an experience with it than just read it out of a book.
All right, sounds good. What is one fact about you that not many people know, or one fun fact?
All right, so it was my second year of being a teacher, and I was supposed to go to my family's house for Thanksgiving, and I ended up showing up late, and I had a pretty good excuse. So there was a bank robber who had just finished making $1 million bank robbery from a bank in Seattle, and he was being chased by the police and ended up hiding in a camper that was right outside of my apartment door.
You witnessed it?
I heard the gunshots when the SWAT team came and tried to get him to leave the trailer, and I had to hide so that I would be safe from the gunfire until they were sure that it was safe to come out. That took about 12 hours. Luckily, my family saved me some turkey and kept it warm.
Yeah, that must have gotten a few laughs at the dinner table.
Exactly.
Tying along with that question,